Hey everybody, welcome to Blabbin' About Slabbin'. Is it time to worry? Today we're going to talk about some players that have got us worried, Chris.
Yeah. This is there are quite a few players struggling so far. We're at the end of April, so it's about 5 or 6 weeks in. We're approximately a sixth of the way into the season. So it's time we can actually look at some numbers. And yeah, some of the guys that Jeff and I like and that we collect and we have in fantasy and we root for are really fighting it. So yeah, some of these guys we are legit concerned about. So let's
Yeah,
start with
let's.
one who
Yeah,
started off with arguably the worst beginning of a season that anyone's ever had. And that is a guy that we talk about a lot. And that's Rafael Devers. Started this year, I believe it was 0 for 21 with 15 Ks, Jeff. Is that right?
yeah, he was atrocious, and I know part of it was attributed to his brief spring training. He just had to get his timing right, and then he showed signs of life statistically.
He did. And then those signs, he flatlined again. He did sort of wake up against Cleveland over the weekend, and there were some really interesting Devers card sales that happened in April, including someone listed a red Bowman Chrome, first Bowman Chrome auto, red refractor, and it sold for about $8,000, which is extremely low for a red first Bowman Chrome of a guy with Devers pedigree. So Jeff and I just want to take a second here and look at Rafael Devers, some underlying numbers here on Baseball Savant. And the good news for Devers fans, Red Sox fans especially, is there's a lot of red here. And red is
There's a
good.
lot of red. Yeah, absolutely. So the underlying signs mean that maybe some clearer waters are ahead for Devers. The rest of his team, there's some really good hitting players on the Red Sox, and he's just not joining that parade yet.
Yeah, I hate to say it, he definitely is one of the guys holding them back. He and Tristan Casas have really been non-factors. They've got some great prospects still waiting to come. So that team is going to click as soon as something clicks for Devers. Now, some numbers here that matter. The exit velocity, 99th percentile. Barrel percentage, 98th. Hard hit, 98th. When he is making contact, he is hitting the hell out of the ball.
Yeah.
And this reminds me, quick side note, when I was in high school, a buddy of mine was a real crappy student and he couldn't get a faculty recommendation. He got one from his chemistry teacher, and the chemistry teacher wrote, and I have a picture of this somewhere, Jason's homework, when done, is done neatly. That was his recommendation. And I feel like it's similar with Devers here. Devers' contact, when made, is made very hard, which is great. The number here we don't like is the whiff percentage and the K percentage. The whiff is he's in the 5th percentile, which is not great. And his K percentage, he's in the 19th percentile. So we need some more contact out of this guy, Jeff.
We got to get more contact out of him. His home run numbers aren't great. He's only got 4, but he scored 20 runs somehow. So he has managed to get on base a few times before some of the better Red Sox hitters. So if you extrapolate it over a full season, his run numbers, his RBI numbers aren't that bad, but it's the home runs that are down. And so we're used to seeing him having these big stretches where he's hot, racking up home runs and doubles. And we haven't really seen that yet, but taking a look at the underlying numbers gives me a little more hope that's coming.
Yeah, he's 120 run pace is impressive. But I have to warn everyone. I watched a lot of these at bats, and he's just getting burned on fastballs. Just he's late. He's just the bat's a little bit slow, or there's a little mechanical flaw back there. So we'll see. Does this get? It seems like if it's mechanical, a small tweak, and he's going to go nuts. But it's crazy to watch him just get burned by like mediocre fastballs over and over and over again. So I think concern about Devers is legit. But possibly correctable. He is still he's 28 years old. So I wouldn't completely panic, but Jeff and I are obviously in a mild panic.
Yeah, I'd say mild is a good panic level for him right now.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily be buying his cards, but if they keep dropping, and the red Bowman that you mentioned, that was a pretty good buy for somebody. And now with how he's doing, that may even be cheaper.
It might. And there was a gold Bowman Chrome auto sale. He has no gems of that, but a PSA 9 sold for right around $1,500. And that's got the potential to look like an absolute steal somewhere down the road. Or if this continues, someone just threw $1,500 away. Time will tell.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, who's next?
Let's move on to another big hitter in Houston, Yordan Alvarez. We're not too far removed from where I was joining the bandwagon to proclaim Yordan as the best hitter in the league, or one of the best hitters in the league. he just seemed to be able to do anything up there when he was healthy, and he never put a full season together. And we thought, what could we get out of him with 150, 155 game season? And I don't know. Now he's playing this season. He hasn't been injured. Knock on wood, he's been healthy, but he just has not been hitting the ball. A lot of red there though, too, Chris.
There is a lot of red, which is nice to see. Average exit velo looks good. Bat speed looks good. Yeah, this is a guy who is just, well, if you look at rate stats, he's a top 10 hitter over the last like 4 or 5 years. 990 OPS, 959 OPS the last 2 years. This year he's rocking a 678 OPS. That's 300 points down.
It's crazy. It's he just can't hit, and he can't hit with any power. And he's got a career coming into this year about 170 OPS plus, which is elite, incredible. Yes. And he's got a 96 OPS plus, under 100, which is under league average for the 6th of the season that we've got so far. And it just is the length of the slump, the prolonged slump, is really concerning.
It is concerning. And if you look at the numbers over there, the hard hit percentage is down. And the squared up percentage is at 41%, which is a crazy low number for Yordan Alvarez. But Yordan has also provided one of the most amazing stats. Jeff and I talked about this 2 nights ago. I cannot wrap my head around this. Now, he scored a run last night. So
take a look at that.
That gives him six runs scored on the season for a guy who's hitting 2nd and 3rd for the Houston Astros. He's on pace to score 36 runs.
Right. We talked about Devers still managing to score runs somehow. That's not the case with Yordan. It's almost an impossibly low number. And there aren't a lot of great hitters in that lineup, so that's not helping him, but he's not been getting on base either. And he's not a fast runner, so he's not going to take that extra base to score a run. It's bad.
No, he's hitting, he's 217 average, a 319 OBP is not helping. Christian Walker being terrible behind him isn't helping, but that team altogether looks extremely worse than I think a lot of us expected them to be. But I don't know. If we're sitting here in 2 months and Devers has 8 home runs and 14 runs scored, this is a pretty serious problem going on in
Yordan.
Houston, so.
Yeah. I don't see that happening. I am concerned, probably a little more than the mild concern I have with Devers, but I'm still not panicking.
Yeah, I agree. I am more concerned about Alvarez than I am Devers, because I feel like we don't have an explanation for the struggles. Exactly. Mm-hmm. And he's 27 years old. This is his prime year. This is the year a lot of players go nuts, and he is not doing it. So, I don't know. Jeff and I are certainly not buying Yordan Alvarez cards right now. I mean, we're not really selling them right now either. It doesn't seem like a great time to sell Yordan Alvarez. But yeah, man, this is problematic. This one is out of nowhere too. There's definite cause for alarm here.
Speaking of cause for alarm, let's go to the Pacific Northwest. And our typically slow starting JROD, Julio Rodriguez, is once again starting slow. And I feel like there are legitimate reasons for concern here. And part of it is that JROD started out so hot out of the chute. 2 amazing seasons to start his career. 2 MVP top 5 finishes, or top 5 and top 10.
Yeah, a rookie of the year and 2 top 5 MVP finishes, I believe.
That's incredible. And so the slide that he's been on over the last couple seasons is continuing to go, and it's pretty concerning.
Yeah, this one is a real high level of concern here. And what's interesting on Baseball Savant here, it just shows the last 3 seasons, or this year and the last 2. If you don't look at 2022, we're looking at a guy with an 818 OPS down to 734, down to 674. He was 30-30 in 2023. But if you look at those 3 numbers, there's nothing on that page that makes you think, man, I got to go get me some high-end Julio Rodriguez cards.
Yeah. As a rookie, he had a 6 WAR season. Then he was 5.5 WAR the next season. Last year was 4.3 WAR. And this season's not off to a great start. He's at 0.8 WAR right now. And that downward trajectory is not what you hope to see out of a young, talented player.
No, and that 0.8 WAR, based on what we're seeing on the right here, is coming entirely from fielding value and base running value, which unfortunately are 2 metrics that do not drive the sale of baseball cards.
Exactly. And surprisingly, his cards are still pretty expensive. We've looked at this on Spitballing a few times just to see where his prices rank, and he just hasn't come down a lot. And I don't know if that's also so many people bought into his cards near the peak and they don't want to take a loss. So they just are holding out hope that he's going to have this bounce back. But his cards really haven't come down to where they should, given his ability levels that he's shown.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there's a lot of people holding and really just convincing themselves that we're going to get a second half Julio surge this year, and we may. But that guy, his whiff percentage, he's in the 5th percentile. His chase percentage is in the 4th percentile.
Yes, that's
That means
unbelievable.
he's swinging at a lot of pitches, and he's not hitting very many of them. That's a
Yeah.
tough
So
combination.
if you're a pitcher, you're not looking at him like you got to throw him strikes, which is problematic. There's a couple other factors going against him, Chris. Where he plays, his ballpark, for instance, that's a tough place to hit. It's going to keep your counting numbers low anyway. Yeah, I don't know. He's got a few things going against him.
Yeah, exactly. That ballpark stinks. He doesn't have a ton of help on the roster. Cal Raleigh's having another great year, but other than that, like not getting a ton of help. Sorry, Jorge Polanco fans. He had a great week last week. I don't know. I'm staying clear of Julio Rodriguez cards. And full disclosure, I traded him before the season in fantasy. But before you think I'm clever, I traded him for Rafael Devers and a draft pick, which I used on Christian Yelich. So
All right.
I guess slightly I'm winning this deal
Yeah.
at the moment.
You're winning, and I like the trajectory of your trade better.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely has a chance here. But yeah, Julio Rodriguez, it's concerning. High levels of concern here. And yeah, I would not blame anyone for trying to get out right now. I'm not recommending it. I'm just saying I totally understand it.
All right, from a young player, let's go to an older one. Let's look at our buddy Mike Trout right here in Los Angeles with us. He has a lot of home runs, Chris.
He does. He does. I can always count on Jeff to find the positive.
Yeah.
Positive is he's got 9 home runs, which I believe is either tied for the league lead or one. I think Suarez is up to 10.
I mean, that's a 50 home run pace, Chris. Can you get there?
He's on a 50 home run pace, but unfortunately, he's also on about a 100 hit pace.
Yeah.
Which is very unusual. This guy's hitting a $170. That's crazy for Mike Trout.
Yeah, and look at the bottom line. You can see, is that 15 seasons, Chris? 15 seasons?
15 seasons, yep. Yeah.
He dipped below 300 for his career average after the last couple years. And especially, I think even coming into this year, he was still at 300, but that 170 dropped him below 300. And that's just kind of sad to see. He's always been a great average guy, a power guy, hitting a lot of doubles. Now you could see more than half of his hits are home runs. He's just not getting a lot of hits. His defense is surprisingly terrible. He's transitioning to right field, which we thought would take some, and maybe it is, taking a little toll away from his legs, not having to patrol center field, but he's just not adjusting to it. He's not coming to it like Tatis did.
Yeah, and we're seeing his OPS right now is 250 points below his career average, which is obviously terrible. Looking over here on the right, we see the average exit velocity. That's been a struggle for me to say today. It is in the 69th percentile. His hard hit rate is not red. And once again, we're seeing a really low, a high level of whiff and Ks.
Yeah, that seems to be the consistent theme here, Chris, that these guys aren't making a lot of contact and they're swinging at a lot of bad pitch. Well, his chase percentage isn't quite as bad, but he's swinging and missing a lot. And actually, he has a negative WAR, Chris, because his fielding is so bad. So despite his 9 home runs, the lack of getting on base and the poor fielding, he's got a negative WAR. So he's below replacement level.
I hate to say this, but right now he's playing like Tony Bautista. If you remember that guy from the Orioles with a weird batting stance, a couple years in a row was putting up 40 home runs and nothing else, no value anywhere else. And man, is this who Mike Trout is, or is this just a rough 6 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say it's a rough 6 weeks, but look at last year and look at the year before. The good thing is he stayed healthy. So I'd love to see him play a full season, see what he can do with a full season. Maybe he can hit his way out of this. He has not played more than 140 games since 2016. That's almost a decade that he hasn't played more than 140 games. He's just not on the field enough. So as great as he was for his first half decade, maybe probably 7 years, 8 years. He's been bad the last
Yeah,
7 years.
and he's a tough buy right now. It's really hard to come up with a storyline where Mike Trout's cards are more valuable 6 months from now than they are right now. Like I have a real hard time seeing how that could happen, how that could play out based on what we're seeing on the field with what Otani's doing, with what Judge is doing. It's just, I hate to say this. I hate to say this, Jeff, but if this trend continues, Mike Trout could legitimately find himself as like a footnote in the careers of guys like Pujols and Otani and Judge and even Mookie Betts.
Yeah,
As
you hate
great
to
as he
think of it
was.
that way, but we talked a little bit about this in a recent Spitballin' Cards video. Also, the timing of his success was before the hobby boom. His major success was before a lot of people got back into collecting cards. And since the hobby boom, especially the pandemic, say 2020-ish, the proliferation of all these rookie cards and sets, everybody coming in, he hasn't been great. And he's been getting progressively worse. So yeah, the fact that he won't be as memorable as you'd think he might be based on his accomplishments is a little sad.
It's tough. It's tough. I mean, it's hard to see. It's hard to imagine a fourth playoff game happening anytime soon either, given the the roster situation in Anaheim. So
Good
this
point.
one's brutal. This one hurts all of us. But I don't. Jeff and I think it's safe to say we're staying full clear of Mike Trout cards. I think that flagship can fall. I think it can get down to $500 in a PSA 10, and I think that BGS, the base auto and Bowman Chrome, which we saw sell for like a record low, I think over the weekend, I think that can get lower too.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I think people look for other ways to spend their money. All right, well, let's move to another guy who is advanced in his career, but still hoping to be in his prime, and that is our friend Mookie Betts. Across town in LA, we had some concerns coming into this season just because of his illness, the crazy illness that he had that lost 20 pounds, was unable to play in the opening series overseas. And we thought that might be sapping his power. And he came out of the gate and hit a couple home runs. It was good. And now we've seen maybe the slide we were expecting.
Yeah, I tell you, before the season, before like 2 weeks to go before the season, Jeff and I was ready. If I was I was so pumped for Mookie
This
Betts
was
this year.
it. Yeah.
He was going to stay at shortstop. He's hitting between Otani and Freeman. He had a chance at a 10 WAR season, and to put up some absolutely crazy numbers. He gets waylaid by the stomach flu. If you've ever had an illness like that, it just saps your strength. He lost 15, 20 pounds. It's going to take months to build that all the way back up. And I think we're seeing that with the swing. If you look over at the numbers on the right there, that is bad. That is really, really brutal. It's rough. There's a
Yeah.
lot of blue there.
And it's almost a completely different way than most of the guys that we've looked at. He doesn't chase a lot of bad pitches. He doesn't swing and miss. He very rarely strikes out. He's still getting his walks, but he's just not getting that hard contact. He's
Yeah,
just not squaring up the ball.
it's really weird to see. But if you told me someone lost 15, 20 pounds because of illness, this is almost exactly what you'd expect to see.
Yes.
Squared
Exactly.
up percentage is 99% of the time he's squaring a ball up, but his average exit velo is nothing. The slugging is nothing, and the hard hit rate is nothing. So like this to me is a little bit different than the other guys. And by the way, his fielding, somehow he's playing a great shortstop.
He's playing a great shortstop. Yes. Look at that fielding run value.
Yeah.
So
So I do, while this is extremely concerning for Mookie Betts, this is the one guy out of these five that I think Jeff and I would tell you, or in our opinion, this isn't someone whose cards I'd run away from. I feel like this has a chance. The numbers we're seeing, there's an explanation for it. And I think as the season goes on, it can be rectified just with some time in the gym and some weight gain.
yeah, my concern is mild here. The concern I do have is I've heard a lot of players talk about how much weight they lose during the season just because it's a long season, it's a grind. They're out there in the sun, especially once summer hits. So I'm hoping that Mookie is taking precautions to not let that happen, and that he's still able to find a way to pack a few of those pounds back on in a healthy way before the big heat of summer comes.
But yeah, and this guy, again, he's 32 years old. He has a legitimate chance to retire with what, like 6 World Series rings, a hell of a lot of WAR, a hell of a lot of runs scored, a lot of hits. We still like this guy. So of these 5, like Jeff said, this is probably our least concern, but it's a possibility you get some panicked sellers right now.
Yeah, I think it's good signs for him that he will be able to get out of it. He's still not chasing. He's still not striking out a lot. He's not abandoning all the things that make him a great hitter. It's just, he just doesn't have the oomph behind it.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's our list of guys that we're worried about. Let us know in the comments if you guys are worried about these players too, if we're overreacting, underreacting, or who else you might be worried about that we could talk about in a future video. So thanks so much for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Every Thursday's the spot. SSB cards that we've got, from rookies through legends, big or small. Chris and Jeff have the power to chase them all.